This story that I'm about to read is really insane. I talked a little bit about Joy Reid in the last segment because Joy Reid is part of the group that is outraged that Ron Johnson, the senator, had the audacity to ask that the major porculus bill be read out loud. God forbid any of us hear about the fraud that is going on and all of the money they want to spend everywhere except for your stimulus check. They don't want us to know any of that. And Joy Reid was not the only one. CNN also reported on this. I always forget this guy's name, but let's play the cut 18.
Over in the U.S. Senate. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who has proven that his tastes normally run toward make-believe and fantasy, overnight demanded a foray into nonfiction. As Americans wait for passage of a $1.9 trillion economic relief bill that has the approval of at least 62% of Americans, Johnson held up the process by demanding that the entire 628-page bill be read out loud. So after 11 straight hours, it finally wrapped up at 2 a.m.
I think that's Berman. I think that's that guy's name, John Berman. I'm speechless. I mean, 62% of people approve of this bill, but they've never heard what's in it. So maybe that's part of the problem, John. Maybe that's why Ron Johnson thinks it should be read out loud. And they all love to call him like this conspiracy theorist. These are all the same people who pushed Russiagate. I find that amazing, but it brings me back to Joy Reid because, like I played in the last segment, we'll play it again. This is her take on Ron Johnson. Cut 12.
And wasting time. Enter the Republican conspiracy senator from Wisconsin, by way of Moscow, Ron Johnson.
Because he wants people to know what is in a $2 trillion taxpayer dollars bill. No one can believe it. No one can believe it. They should be happy because we know they're not going to read it. All these CNN anchors and MSNBC people. But I have something even more ridiculous from Joy Reid. I tell you that these media experts have absolutely no shame. Joy Reid, Republicans would trade tax cuts for ability to use N-word like the good old days. I just looked over at Jared. He looks so defeated. I know. It's nonsense. We are in such a strange time. MSNBC host Joy Reid is being slammed over a tweet claiming that Republicans would trade tax cuts for the ability to use racial slurs. I'll say it again. People on the right would trade all the tax cuts for the ability to openly say the N-word like in the good old days. To them, not being able to be openly racist and discriminatory without consequences is oppression. Trump is the avatar for this freedom.
You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
Seriously. You sound absolutely... First of all, no. People on the right would rather tax cuts. I'm on the right. I would much prefer a tax cut. And second of all, should Joy... My account got hacked by a time-traveling, evil, maniacal sleuth, and that's why I wrote all those homophobic rantings. Reid, be the voice of reason on this. Should we be taking Joy Reid's advice on, people being racist or discriminatory? No. The same way we shouldn't be taking Al Sharpton's advice on taxes. The same way we shouldn't be taking Eric Swalwell's advice on relationships. These people, it's not just that they're terrible, but it's like they pick the one thing that you'd think maybe they would stay away from. Like the one little element of themselves that hypocrisy just shines on, and they go with that. A perfect example is Fredo Cuomo. Every time somebody tweets something out, he'll respond back with like, "What do you guys think we should be talking about? There's all this talk about how we don't cover enough things. What should we be talking about?" It's like, how do you not see that coming? How do you not see that people are going to respond back in all caps saying, "Your brother"? the lack of self-awareness is disturbing to me. And while we're here playing some cuts, let's play. This was a really odd moment yesterday. I don't think it was from the Issues Conference where Joe Biden asked Nance if he could take some questions and then they cut the feed. But Nancy Pelosi was talking to somebody and she said this, cut 13.
These doors, we do not say open sesame. We say open Biden. That's our magic word.
Sure.
Open Biden. I love it.
Oh my gosh. These people, they need to keep their arms out because the Nets are surely on their way and I fear for them. She said that before too, which is the weirdest part. She has said that bizarre comment before. I think I blocked it out of my memory, but that's her second time saying that. Too much the Jenny's ice cream is going to her head. It's giving her a brain freeze. Guys, when we get back on the other side, I'll be taking calls for the rest of the show until we have the car crossover. 844-500-4242. Eden Pure's famous BOGO offer is back for this week only. For the first time in history, they're offering the Gen 4D heater BOGO just for our listeners. That's right. It's buy one, get one free. I love this deal because it's the perfect time of year to have a heater because there are going to be some days when you want to turn the heat off in your house and then the next day it's going to be really cold again. So don't start turning on the heat on and off for an entire home. Just buy a Gen 4D heater. And this, you get buy one and you get one free. It's the perfect deal. For how cold it is at night, you're going to want to take advantage of this offer that saves you $300. You're going to want to take advantage. This offer is available for just this week, so don't delay. It's an incredible savings. I mean, $300 that's a lot of money. This is really awesome. Gas and oil prices have already skyrocketed. You guys know that. And Robert from the Cape says, the Gen 4D heater performs like no other heater I've ever used. That is true. It really is a remarkable product. The Eden Pure Gen 4D makes you feel warmer than your furnace and it costs less to run. You may be working from home now and you've noticed the increase in heating bills. Well, this is a great way to cut those bills down fast. And plus, it just works really well. I mean, saving money and staying warm, those are two great things. And it's an easy buy. The Eden Pure Gen 4D will pay for itself in a matter of days. Go to EdenPure.com, put in code word GraceBogo. That's EdenPure.com, use code word GraceBogo. This deal ends Sunday, so go now, EdenPure.com. Don't forget code word GraceBogo. And we will be back on the other side with some of your calls, 844-500-4242. This is The Grace Curley Show.
She's never held office, but she paid the whiskey priest's monthly rent once. She's Grace Curley.